Welcome to the most must-see podcast in wrestling history. That's right, you got it. You know what time it is. It's the Hot Take Wrestling, new episode, season 3, episode 8. I am your boy Logan the McSheen, aka Old Man Logan, here with the host with the most. Y'all know him as Craft Beer Poppy. Y'all know him as the other KG. Y'all know him as Whiskey Sour Kenny. I simply know him as Ken Gardner.
Let me just say this to start off. So on Thursday, if you're fans of Law & Order SVU, Stabler's coming back. I can't believe Stabler came back before CM Punk. Saw that.
That lets people know dreams do come true.
It's the biggest big comeback, man.
It's true. It's
the biggest comeback of 2021.
I hate you guys right now. I just like you guys right now. Leave this man alone. You leave him alone.
All right. And rounding out the trio, producer extraordinaire, mix and mastering, getting it right. Don't, and I repeat, don't second guess him behind those boards. My good friend, Mr. Joe Freelon.
I'm gonna try to do something as funny as KG. I got nothing. I got nothing. I really have nothing. Like I was as he was saying the statement thing. I was like, okay, I got something. Here you go. I got nothing.
All right,
I got something. Joe is telling me online dating's a thing, man. Joe's basically he heard the news, as all of us have, that Britt Baker and Adam Cole met on Bumble. Joe's just trying to find his fire like Britt Baker. That's all I got. Putting them out there, ladies.
Good stuff. Thank you, man.
So you mean to tell me that Adam Cole, baby, was on Bumble?
Yeah. And Britt was on the podcast. He told the whole story about it.
Adam Cole's on Bumble?
Yeah.
Oh, this is
as himself though, as Austin. His last
let's put in 5 minutes of this just to get this in context. Adam Cole,
baby,
pro wrestler, Ring of Honor, one of the longest Ring of Honor champions, New Japan Intercontinental champion, if I'm correct, was on Bumble.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nah, bro. I gotta see this for myself. Nah, bro.
Because at first she said something about she wasn't gonna date him at first because she knew his Ring of Honor character and she was like wondering if that was like his real character. Because you know how sometimes you hear wrestlers are like their characters. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. While Joe's checking on that, the week that was in WWE and AEW and other promotions, I don't have anything for Raw. I'm trying to keep it positive for the most part this episode, so I'm gonna punt that off to Joe's in shock right now. I'm gonna punt it off to Joe. Anything from Raw of a talking point for you? I got one thing about Raw, but I'll punt it off to you first.
Okay, one thing, and then I'll get this out the way. Adam Cole's real name is Austin Jenkins. That is
I knew it was Austin. Sounds like a porn star almost.
Wait, what's the last name?
Jenkins.
Austin Jenkins.
Austin
That's the blackest
Jenkins.
Austin Jenkins. First off, that's the blackest white name I've ever heard in my life. That's so racist. I can't even edit that out. I just had to say it. Austin Jenkins.
Sounds like Adam Cole has some mild sauce in the crib.
Yep. He definitely has some hot sauce. You don't talk
mild sauce. He got that mixed concoction in the crib of hot sauce with mild sauce.
He's throwing that like Tabasco hot sauce on the pizza.
I am positive by the way that he carries himself that Adam Cole has a bunch of like hood motherfucker friends that we like they may or may not be of brown or black descent, but they're pretty hood. Like I'm pretty sure he got some like Ben Affleck town friends.
I mean,
you like Ben Affleck from Good Will Hunting.
No. I'm talking about Ben Affleck from the town. That Ben Affleck. That one.
But Goodwill Hunting, Ben Affleck was out there ready to scrap too. He made their friend put down his cheeseburger. He said, you know what? You don't get out this car. As soon as we done kicking their ass, I'm coming back here. I'm kicking your ass. So you better put that burger down.
but that Ben Affleck, look, we're gonna do some bad things. I can't tell you how bad it is. I can't tell you where we're going, but we're gonna do a lot of bad things.
I have to look at the town though. I just remember that one. I thought that was pretty. I thought that was close to your comparison in terms of hoodness.
That's his best movie. That's probably his best movie.
The Town is definitely Ben Affleck's best movie.
Where he's featured or in general? Because I would say Goodwill Hunting, like, but that was more about Matt Damon.
Yeah, that's why I say that's more centered around him.
But let's get back into wrestling. That's not here nor there, folks. We don't want to lose you.
I should have known because Adam Cole does have retro ones. Like some people have retro one mids, and some people wear retro ones. Retro ones are high tops. And Adam Cole has the high tops. He doesn't have the low top or the mids. Should have known. It's all making sense now.
Adam Cole wears Hirachis. Like, not regular, like, I want to work out Hirachis. Adam Cole's wear, these are professional Hirachis.
Fellas, before we continue, I got this fan on. Do y'all hear the fan in the background?
No.
No? Cool.
What was my highlight from Raw? I think my highlight from Raw. No. That's part of my golden shovel. Okay. I like the fact that there's somewhat of a build with Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley by having Lashley like telling people to like take out Drew McIntyre, which I think is just him trying to heal it up, them trying to find a way for him to heal it up. But I think it's the wrong direction. I do like how they're making Bobby look kind of strong in that regard, so I'm excited about that. But I don't like the way they had him in the locker room telling people, "You want a chance at the title? Take him out. Take him out." No, you don't really mean that. You don't care nothing about that. You're Bobby Lashley. You're Bobby Lashley. You just threw somebody mid-hurt lock over a daggone guardrail, and he's like 240 pounds or whatever. Was that Miz he threw over like that, or was that somebody else? Who was that he threw over the guardrail like that?
It was Riddle.
Was it Riddle?
Yeah.
Yep. Retribution broke up. That was a highlight of the night for me. I'm happy about that. I'm ecstatic about that. That is the best thing that's good going for Raw is that Retribution broke up. So now we can use them properly. Dominic Dijakovic can actually be dominant. Mia Yim can be utilized possibly. I'm excited about that. Mustafa Ali can now actually just be great. So there's something with that. But Retribution broke up. That's the highlight of my night. Retribution broke up. No more slapstick jokes. No more shredder helmets. No more randomness of us acting like Mia Yim doesn't have the bluest hair of all hair. I don't like it. Screw it.
My only disappointment is before they broke them up, we didn't see a flapjack was down for the culture and put the black at the page on his face. But that's neither here nor there again. But anyway, highlight for me, I'm glad that Rhea and Asuka are going to face each other for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania 37. I believe I called that on here. I hope they don't shoehorn Charlotte into that match. That's all I got for Raw.
I think Charlotte is going to miss from what they were saying because of COVID.
Well, I'm not happy about that, but I don't want her. I don't want her in the match. I really don't. If anything, like if she's ready to come back, I'd rather see maybe Charlotte and Becky team up, maybe go after Raw or the Women's Tag Team Championships. I feel like they dropped the ball by as great as the NXT Women's Division is by creating another set of championships again. I don't think that was necessary. I feel like they should have just had Nia and Shayna drop them at Mania and just had NXT involved. But other than that, that's probably my highlight. I feel like we're going to see a changing of the guard here. at WrestleMania 37. I'm looking forward to that. I think Bianca and Rhea walk away as the women's champions. And that's it. Get some fresh blood in there. Or new blood, should I say.
I heard a bad joke on the Masked Man show, wrestling podcast I listen to, David Shoemaker. And they basically were saying they didn't want to see Bianca and Rhea hugging like Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit when they won the titles at WrestleMania.
I mean, it's been done before. We saw it last year too with Ciampa, or 2 years ago with Ciampa and Gargano. I don't need to see that, but I wouldn't. Well, here's the thing too, though. I don't think they'll just do that, just do it, because their championship matches aren't even on the same night. Because they're talking about Bianca and Sasha might main event night one. That's the big rumor that's going around. So, and I believe Rhea and Asuka are scheduled for night two. So, it would be kind of awkward anyway too, because you're gonna have Bianca come out in the middle of the show to do that. Like, at least that closed the show. It was a culmination of, and that's the thing too. I don't think WWE will force that. I hope they're not that dumb, because Benoit and Guerrero, I'm not saying that Rhea and Bianca aren't close, but Rhea already acknowledged that like her go-to, like her ride or die was Raquel.
Yeah,
like Eddie and Chris were like
best friends.
You know what I mean? Thick as thieves,
Yeah.
in a sense. Yeah. Outside of like the only people that belongs in that group was probably, other than that, outside of like Jericho and Ray, like those four basically. So it could have been like a click moment. Other than that, I wouldn't think they would do that. I could see them, but I hope not.
Yeah, that's why I said
it's just forced.
A bad joke was in poor taste to me.
Yeah, we'll see.
But outside of that, a takeaway I did have that I thought was hilarious is the segment Joe actually brought up with Lashley, saying, "Hey, if you want a shot at the title, take out Drew McIntyre." And the only guy, I mean, you got Lucha House Party sitting there, Drew Gulak. Ricochet's not even in ring gear, like he ain't even suiting up no more. I found that kind of amusing, because these guys are, if they're not even on having the match, they're chasing R-Truth for the 24/7 title. So why are we even saying, hey, if you want to shot at the title, y'all get him to the Joe Bear extraordinaires, basically. And it hurts me to say that about Ricochet. It's just, he was like the only guy sitting there that it would have made sense. And it looked like they're teasing a breakup of the Hurt Business right now. And I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm not
I would
at all. Yeah. I'm not okay with that at all. And the thing of it is like you don't have anything else. Like, you really don't have anything else on Raw but Drew McIntyre and the Hurt Business.
Yeah, that's it. I don't care about anything else.
Right.
Like I said, Rhea I'm excited about because that's new. But before she popped on the scene, I didn't care about anything else outside of those two. And excuse me, Orton's cool, but this stuff is kind of getting, yeah. It was. Yeah, I liked it at first, but
I guess that was their whole edgy thing. USA wanted them to be edgy, so we're gonna basically rip off horror movies for this Orton Fiend angle. I happen to like the Fiend's new look, though. I'm not going front. I thought it was cool. I mean, he's basically Jason now, but, it's cool. We've seen people come back before. Kane, Taker, Mankind.
He looked like a burnt fuse.
Nose is a little crooked, but,
He looked like when you blow out a fuse, everybody in front of the hood, when you got to get the new fuses, and you burn them out too much, so it burnt. The whole fuse box be smoky and shit.
I blame the McSheen, because I don't care about the Fiend since he lost the skinny leg Goldberg.
That's the McSheen's fault.
As I said I blame the McSheen. I don't care about
and they're forcing.
I don't care no more.
Enforcing the Braun Strowman Shane McMahon match.
I'm gonna move on from Raw now.
That's it. Keep that.
Like, Like this is like the one they tried to do that joke, right? When they said they did that promo with Baron Corbin and Sammy, the match that nobody asked for. No, this is the match that nobody asked for, literally.
Literally the match.
Right.
We don't want that.
You could instead of putting them in that spot, just do a multi-man match for the US title. Put Braun in there with Matt Riddle, Sheamus, and if he's healthy enough, Keith Lee. Just do a fatal 4-way, like a no DQ match or something. Because all 4 of those guys are hard hitters. And you protect the people who are not even the people, the person, i.e. Braun, who's not like the greatest in ring performer, but you can get a good match out of there.
Mm.
Let's do like
Does Riddle even have a match announced yet?
They're rumoring it's going to be Sheamus. My prediction, though, I was saying I think Keith Lee's going to turn and then he'll join the Hurt business. But that was what but I don't know if it'll be cleared because they said he was injured. So if they give him enough time, Riddle and Sheamus would be a pretty good match. They've shown they have chemistry, but yeah. So no official match, but that's the rumor that Sheamus was supposed to challenge him. I don't know.
But yeah, so I didn't really have a
highlight.
I didn't really have a highlight from Raw. It was just a couple of takeaways that I thought were kind of okay, good.
Yeah. But yeah, moving on to I feel like the show that most of the time we have eyes for. 2 of them are NXT and AEW. Tim, I'll punt it off to you this time. I know you didn't get to catch too much of either, but I know you heard a little something about it. So anything you want to talk about?
Big takeaway from what I heard. I only saw a little teaspoon of it myself. But Walter and Ciampa, I am so looking forward to this. Now, I was just kind of fantasy booking, right? And we know Ciampa does not want to go to that main roster whatsoever. So enter this feud with Walter and him potentially becoming NXT UK heavyweight champion, where it's just going to lead to a ton of matches, just new matchups, new feuds. If he beats him, of course, because there is another theory going on, and I'll say that when I get to the end of it. But that segment I heard was just great. It was, you think about the old school segments where you had, stables attacking a person and,
right.
Getting them actually getting the best of that person because it's just one of them. It's not like, John Cena overcoming the Wyatts. So, I'm really looking forward to that and what could be coming from that, if Ciampa does win. But I also heard, and this is the big rumor that's been going on, what I've been hearing on the podcast is that if Walter retains and Finn retains, both of them are undefeated right now. They'll be undefeated NXT World Champions. So we could potentially see a match between them for an undisputed championship in NXT.
So before everything shut down last year, they were supposed to do Walter versus Finn for the NXT UK Championship. I don't necessarily think there needs to be unification, only because everything's not all the way back open.
Mm-hmm.
So it would open up more possibilities if it was without the pandemic, where you get more people coming over to the UK. I think they're fine keeping their champion because otherwise, why have that show, in a sense? Because then it's not going to give enough people enough time to shine with a 2-hour show. I don't know how Joe feels about that, so I'll point off to him. I'm down for the match, though. But go ahead, Joe.
I just want the match. I don't want the music.
Yeah.
I just want the match. I think NXT UK needs its own championship, and NXT needs its own championship just because, unless you're saying that NXT UK is harder for the show to get reviewed or looked at because no one's looking at it now, that's fine. Okay, then you revamp the show. Don't put them titles together though, but you give me that wrestling match. You give me
not necessarily putting the titles together, but one guy that's the champ,
or a Worlds Collide. Maybe they could do. I don't need, because last time they did.
You know what I'm saying? Both titles.
I'm down.
Like that.
I'm just down for a Worlds Collide type event where last year they did Imperium versus Undisputed Era, so we didn't see champion versus champion in a singles match. I'm down for that. I'm not down for like one champion, one world champion, just because there's not enough time, like I said, for everybody to get their shine and go out.
Yeah.
Because right now there's still people that haven't even had an NXT championship match who, not that they're not utilizing them correctly, but like Kushida hasn't had an NXT championship match.
Right.
So it's just, and then if you start, not even just Kushida, Timothy Thatcher hasn't. You have so many people currently on the NXT roster, so it's like it's hard for them to get elevated. We don't want to start incorporating these NXT UK people too, because I'm sure there's people on that show who want to see basically. I couldn't name more than X amount of people on the roster, but I just feel like with a 2-hour show too, it's going to be a little difficult. But I will say this: one talking point that was getting a buzz too was before the contract signing, Adam Cole had a stare down with Shawn Michaels, so that got a lot of people talking because Shawn Michaels had slid a ladder into the ring for Santos Escobar and Jordan Devlin because they're both have a title unification match in a ladder match.
Yeah.
So that got a lot of people talking. I don't know if the match will actually happen. Had a lot of people talking.
Well, I know Shawn Michaels been kind of like his coach or whatever, right? His agent for his matches. So he's been like under that knowledge tree, soaking a lot of that up.
Yeah,
from Shawn.
And he gets the comparisons a lot. To Shawn
too.
So he gets the comparisons to old school Shawn when he was an ass. But the difference between Adam Cole and Shawn Michaels is that I think it was somebody on Instagram did an old school video of Shawn Michaels versus Diesel. Shawn Michaels was the fucking GOAT. When Diesel had both his knees and his ACLs and his quads were good, he was quick. And Shawn Michaels was just as he was the GOAT. Shawn Michaels is in that ring, he was something else. But I digress. I think that the stare down with Shawn and Adam Cole was speculation. It was all like, ooh, that would be nice. Adam Cole would carry him through the match, but I mean, how much do you really want to see Shawn really wrestle right now? Like, you really want Shawn Michaels? He doesn't. His hair's going down.
I'll be honest. Nothing against Adam Cole, but if Shawn's gonna have another match, it should be AJ Styles.
Yeah, but that was 4 years ago, and Shawn didn't want to come out of retirement for that for some reason, and it was going to be in his hometown.
If anybody
or Daniel Bryan,
I would want that.
Or Daniel Bryan because he trained him to it.
Well, that too. Yeah, that too.
I mean, he didn't train him like a super long time.
Yeah.
The last time I really thought Shawn would come out of retirement, because that whole Brothers of Destruction thing was just off the wall. I thought since they kept acting like they didn't want to push DB, I swear for like a month, I thought they were going to do DX versus DB and Punk at Mania. Like heel DX. Because they kept having the four of them interact.
Yeah.
Because they even had that whole promo when Punk came out. He was like, you know what? 15-year-old me is pretty excited. You super kicked me in the face. You ever do that again, I will drop you where you stand. And like, it was and then like Daniel Bryan hit him with the running knee. He super kicked Daniel Bryan during the Hell in a Cell, DB or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing where Triple H reportedly, because you remember when they had the feud with the Wyatts, Bray Wyatt said, the devil made me do it. And everybody was like, huh? And I was like, then people started speculating that Triple H sicked the Wyatts on DB and Punk storyline. So other than that, there was like no other time where I was excited for him to come out. Because now, and that was like 7 years ago. So like now, do I really want to see Shawn wrestle again? No. I was just bringing it up because it was like one of those moments everybody got talking, like what could be. But as far as that, other than that, for NXT, I was interested when Finn said the Karrion Kross fight promotion. He's like, you either gonna sink or swim. He's like, if you you're either gonna beat me or you're gonna drown. I'm gonna drown you. I was like, okay, because I'm intrigued because Karrion Kross has had good matches when he's had extended time. I was a little disappointed that he got injured in that match against Keith Lee, so we didn't get to see what that fully could have been. This should be a pretty good match, though, with him and Finn. Because and if you're talking about champion versus champion, you might get, because NXT they experiment. You might get Walter versus Karrion Kross too as a potential non-title match. So
that was done on MLW, and that was the loudest chopping match of my life. Holy shit, that shit is. It's aggressive. I'm not MLW. It's some overseas promotion in England, but it was violent.
Yeah.
Woo. Woo. I hope they do it. That'd be awesome.
And
NXT, I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you. By the way,
no, go ahead.
Oney Larkin slapped the taste out of Karrion Kross's mouth and his chest. Did y'all hear that?
Yeah, no, he left marks. You could see, it was a big mark on the side of his neck.
Not even that. On the promo, if you watch the promo, there's a stream of blood coming down because he's bursting.
Okay, I have to look that up. Yeah.
Oh, it's intense. Oh my god. Okay. All right, that's all I have. I'm sorry.
I will say this too. I'm a little disappointed though. That was a little lazy on their part to strip Lorcan and Birch of the titles because Birch got injured. They could have just put Pete Dunne with Oney Lorcan since they're in a stable anyway. I think that was a little. I mean, with that being said, though,
are they in a official stable though?
Yeah, I mean, they always come out together. Is what I'm saying. Like they don't have a name. I mean, they were calling themselves they don't call themselves the brand, but I'm saying they're always together. So why strip a team when you have another person that slide in there? Is all I'm saying. I mean, the point I'm making is I
was just bringing that up because I was like, had they said, okay, this is officially the group, they had a name, all that good stuff, then yeah, you could throw them right into that mix.
I don't even necessarily know if they need a name though, because I mean, Edge and Christian were just Edge and Christian when they were
no, not saying they need one. I was just saying, if they haven't really made it official, then that's why they went that route. You know what I mean? Because
I said, they're just always together, except for that title match last week with Karrion Kross and Finn Balor. Other than that, they're usually together. Like they're out there with Pete Dunne when he has matches.
And speaking of, and you know what, he could be that mystery opponent for Johnny Gargano.
Well, they announced who his opponent's supposed to be. They said it was supposed to be a gauntlet eliminator or something after a battle royal. There's going to be a battle royal this week. Then the last 6 people left are supposed to be some gauntlet eliminator on night 1 of TakeOver. The night 2, it's supposed to be Gargano versus whoever comes out of that.
Gotcha.
I was a little disappointed in that just because Daniel Bryan said that he wants to wrestle Johnny Gargano because they never wrestled before. Where I was hoping that they would put him in there. I mean, he could work both shows. I don't know if they would do that where he works TakeOver and WrestleMania, but I'd love to see that. I would, but I'm down for Pete Dunne too versus Johnny Gargano, which is probably more than likely be the match that we'll get because I don't believe I've seen that before, even if they've had a match. But that should be a hell of a TakeOver match if that's what ends up happening. I really can't see anybody else outside of Dexter Lumis winning that.
Mm-hmm.
I was just assuming it will be one of those two who comes out as the winner.
I don't know.
What?
I think for me, with NXT, there's so many possibilities, and watching it, I realized that there's so many things that I want to see on there. For example, I'm just realizing that they're cultivating Raquel Gonzalez into the female Diesel. Her nickname is Big Mommy Cool.
I mean, I saw that from the jump though. As soon as they put her with Dakota Kai, I was like, oh, this is Shining Diesel all over again.
Right. And then also with that, one, I want to say that match. 2, the Eliminator is interesting because Austin Theory is in that match. Does that mean the way is possibly breaking up, or is that something different on that end as well? And then 3, they have they have Roderick Strong telling Kyle O'Reilly at the end of their whole thing with Adam Cole that, we got to figure out a way to kick Cole's ass. He's like, hey man, I'm doing it this Sunday, whatever y'all got, that's between y'all. And then he's like on his own. So what's gonna happen to Roddy? Like what's gonna happen to Bobby Fish? What's gonna happen to these guys? Like NXT is dramatic. I'm lost with a lot of things right now, and I'm a glass case of emotions with all these things. And I need to know. I need answers. I need answers right now. Right now.
That's why I was mentioning that with Ciampa, because I'm like, in the spectrum of him possibly going there, him not wanting to go to the main roster, like not wanting to go to SmackDown or Raw. To me, that says, all right, if I'm Trips, what's the next best thing I can do to utilize this talent? And if Gargano's willing to, not Gargano, if Ciampa's willing to make the trip and just go over there and be part of NXT UK for a spell, then my money's on him to win that particular match. I know we're not picking winners for TakeOver just yet, but I just feel like it's kind of the narrative that we're getting ready to see, and that's creative because that's an alternative for people that don't necessarily want to go to the main roster. They can now say, hey, okay, well, you guys can go over to NXT UK for a little bit.
I believe there's a spot for Ciampa if he really wants it, though. I mean, because he already said that, at least I've said, I really don't see the point at this point in trying to utilize Ziggler and Roode anymore. You call Ciampa and Tim Thatcher up, they could be SmackDown tag champs. And then he has the potential, when Jimmy comes back, to have the heel Usos feuding with him. You have possibilities. You could have Seth Rollins. It looks like they might put him back with Murphy. I mean, you have options. It's just.
Again, what's going on with Velveteen? Like, we haven't seen him in months.
Yeah, I think he might end up getting released eventually. Because at this point, it's like people are not going to forget. It's like if you don't believe the dude's innocent, then just release him.
Exactly.
To this point, like either put him back on TV or release him. I haven't heard anything about an injury, like a legitimate injury.
Like, I don't even think he's like done the Andrade route and asked for a release or anything, but it's just been quiet. And it's like, all right, we're not utilizing this guy at all, and this is a hell of a talent to just have sitting on the sidelines, like,
Mm-hmm. The problem is they don't want to release him too, though, because this company pretends like they want to be PC all the time about certain things. And they're saying, oh, that's why Tessa might not go there. I guarantee you Velveteen ends up in AEW if they let him go. And they don't want that problem. That's the problem.
If I'm him, though, I wouldn't go to AEW. Like you were saying last week, like, AEW is so heavy right now. Like, it's going to be hard to get a spot. Like, and the character that he portrays, like, I mean, sure, he probably won't be able to be called Velveteen Dream. He can be called the Exquisite One or some shit. But if I'm him, me personally, AEW would be down the line maybe, but I wouldn't go there immediately. I think immediately he could have that impact, pun intended. Ring of Honor, MLW, something like that, where he's able to really or a stint over there in New Japan. He's one of those talents I think could fit well. He'll find his place wherever he goes. It's just right now, I think AEW is running into that problem that everybody was saying in terms of having too much talent and not necessarily having a place for it to go. You don't have a cruiserweight title, so your cruiserweights everybody's going after the TV title, but if you had a cruiserweight division, they couldn't necessarily be utilized in that capacity. You put an emphasis on tag team wrestling, which is great, but you got the title on the Young Bucks right now, and it looks like it's going to be on them for an extended period of time. So you can't necessarily, move around in that aspect, in that division, and Kenny Omega's your AEW champion, and he's going to have it for a spell. So, barring injury. So, and then they're constantly adding older ex-WWE talent. That's going to take a place from somebody else. So, I know we just kind of segued into AEW inadvertently, but, it's just one of those things where this guy is somebody I would definitely like to see on the card for NXT during WrestleMania weekend. Just, A, because we haven't seen him in a while, and B, he deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, It could run into that problem with AEW, but at the same time, I feel like he's young enough where he could still be utilized in AEW. Some of the problem with AEW too is they have a bunch of good wrestlers, but some of those people do not have any type of charisma whatsoever. So that's the only reason I would say that he would be a little bit different from everybody just running AEW. Because most people I suggest to go, most people I feel like I suggest to go AEW are like the top tier guys who everybody wants to see push, like a Cesaro or like a Sammy or like a Shinsuke Nakamura or something like that. I'm not saying that like Murphy should go to AEW because he's good. Don't get me wrong, but they have plenty of Murphys already there.
Right.
I get what you're saying though. Don't get me wrong. I get what you're saying. I do feel like the Velveteen will be the exception. That because, like I said, they don't have a lot of people with personality below the mid card right now, even in the mid card that are on AEW Dynamite. They have a bunch of good wrestlers, but outside of their upper mid card, I don't really see a lot of personality from people.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, like me, just fantasy booking right now, thinking what could they do with him? You could probably stick Private Party with Velveteen as his like little henchman, you know, to kind of cultivate them. I know they're still pretty young. I know he's young too, but just his character, he doesn't need a Matt Hardy to talk for him. You know what I'm saying? Like he can talk. You know, they don't necessarily have that. Like they good in the ring, but you can see they still developing, and they not necessarily got that confidence on the ring, on the mic just yet. So that's the one thing that kind of sticks out glaringly to me in terms of AEW. But I think him and Impact, you know, he'll be able to stand out, get a prominent spot, and you know what I mean, he'd be able to move around within those divisions over there and really like, you know, kind of like what Bobby Lashley did. Like Bobby went over there and he was, you know, he went and got all three titles. The X Division, the heavyweight title, and what was the other one? The other mid TV champion or something like that. He had three titles at one point. But you know, so that's why I said that. Plus, I don't want to see everybody, like you said, I don't want to see everybody thinking, okay, AEW is, you know, where I need to be just because I'm not in WWE anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, but one highlight for AEW for me though, with two highlights as far as in the ring, I don't want to steal Joe's thunder. That's two puns because you'll see why later, ladies and gentlemen. For one, for his highlight from AEW, two highlights for me though was Laredo Kid, Lucha Brothers versus Brandon Cutler and Young Bucks. That was a crazy 6-man match. Just especially the ending sequence where everybody was just giving their best shot. Whether you had Matt Jackson deliver a DDT, like a springboard DDT on the apron to Ray Phoenix, and Laredo Kid basically pinning Brandon Cutler at the same time that Nick had just did like a springboard corkscrew moonsault, whatever. Also, though, Matt Sydal versus Kenny Omega, I thought that was a hell of an opener. And kudos to Kenny Omega, who's probably going to be my wrestler of the week because you're not going to see too many times where the world champion goes out there and has almost a 15-minute match with somebody in the lower mid card. So,
do you think that was a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing to me because I don't need to see squash matches all the time just because you're the face of the company type thing. Like, I'm not saying there's no place for those, but it's enjoyable to get a change up.
Yeah. Because that's building. That's, you know what I mean? That's building that guy. So down the line, he can, you know what I mean, become one of those dudes that might be a main eventer. You know what I mean? You never know. It's just, you got to start somewhere. So him having a match, a scrappy match against the AEW champion, you know, it might make Kenny look a little weak, but if you're helping to build another guy that's going to be someone that brings eyeballs to the show, you know, why not? And Matt Sydal and him, you know, it's gonna be money. It's gonna be like him and Ray Phoenix was, like, you know, putting on the clinic.
It's refreshing to see that Kenny Omega is like about the wrestling though, and like with AEW, the difference between their champion and the WWE champion, all their champions are about the wrestling. That includes Darby Allin, that includes the Young Bucks, that includes Kenny Omega. They're about the wrestling. Like, even though they started first, the match was still quality and it was still a good ass match. It wasn't like they were like, he was just blowing moves and doing a bunch of V triggers and all of a sudden he won the match. It was an actual match where like it was like a give and take or whatever. And even then, you still saw Kenny Omega still be great because towards the end of the show, when the Bucks were done, who were they beating up? Was it Brandon
He
Cutler?
jumped Laredo. He
Laredo
jumped Laredo Kid. Yeah, with the chair.
Right.
That set up a 6-man next week with the Good Brothers, and yeah.
Right. So even then, it's about them still building, and they're doing a good job still building that, and that's what's really cool. And they might break up the Elite.
Got some drama there.
Yeah.
And one other thing too, Kenny Omega left. As great as Ray Phoenix and Penta Zero Miedo are, at the moment they're mid card. How many times you don't see the world champion let mid carders leave them laying in the ring?
Right.
Because anybody can get it. That's why in AEW I like it, because anybody can get it. Because people forget Penta Zero faced him at All In.
Yeah.
You and KG. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Deal. Man.
But that's the luxury that they have over there. Like you were saying, the AEW champions are about the wrestling. Like WWE, the champions over there don't necessarily have that kind of power to be like, nah, let's go this way instead of that way. You know, they have someone pushing them in a certain direction, and that's the direction they have to follow. Unless you're a Brock Lesnar, a John Cena, or Triple H, you know what I'm saying, where you have that ability to be like, nah, I don't want to do that. Let's go this route instead. I want to have a match with this person instead of that person. You know, like I just brought up Brock for a reason. Like we were supposed to have the champion versus champion match, Brock versus Jinder, and you end up with Paul Heyman burying the crap out of Jinder, and yeah, it changed. Next thing we know, Jinder loses the title to AJ at a house show, and the match ends up being Brock versus AJ.
But no one wanted to see Jinder. Let's just call.
Don't hinder Jinder, man.
Like nobody outside of the drunk people in Chicago. We went to Backlash in Toronto, Canada. That's the only two people who wanted to see Jinder, because Jinder got that pop in both towns. That's because everybody was trolling that night. People was mad that night.
Jinder told y'all he got the strength of 1.3 billion on his back.
He's from Canada.
I know he's from Canada. You know he's from Canada, but he was told to say that in his promo.
And I don't even know.
Richard Jap ass.
And on the low, Jinder, y'all saw that Jinder had a bunch of fans in the what was that? Which pay-per-view was that? Was that Money in the Bank?
It was Money in the Bank, and that's that same time everybody turned on him. That match got crapped on bad. That was like the worst I've ever seen in an American crowd.
Yeah, because him and Roman was trash. That was booty, and then Jinder is a solid bootios. Jinder is a solid competitor. He's never had a great match. You can go back to NXT if you want to. He's never had an amazing match. He's solid.
Jinder's like the worst. No, I'll scratch that. I don't. But it's between Jinder and Braun Strowman, who's the worst world champion in the last 5 years. I stand by that. I'll stand by that.
That says a lot that I'm saying Braun too.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna argue it. That's why I said between. When I say it's between, to me it's a toss up. Yeah, I'm not gonna argue it because it's more so on WWE on both those guys because Jinder could have been a good champion if they took the time to actually. It just came out of left field to the point where it's like way out of left field. And Braun, it's like they presented him the wrong way because it's hard to build. It's hard to book almost a 400-pound babyface champion. It's difficult, especially we don't have that much talent on the brand at the time. Like SmackDown just had scraps at the time. There was no Roman. There was like Drew and Bobby are on Raw, so that's two people who could have feuded with Braun in either capacity. Yeah, it's like you got to just present presentable challengers. And it's just like the one guy who could have had a good match with him, like he was on SmackDown for a cup of coffee. Not even a cup of coffee. They just kept AJ away from him. Right. That's about it. And I think it's not just about good matches, but like just the payoff, basically, where like even good promo exchanges and stuff like that. I don't know. But Joe mentioned earlier he wanted to reference the Britt Baker promo from this week. I thought that was a fire promo, Joe.
I am honestly more and more impressed with Britt Baker every freaking week. Her line. I think her line was the following. Her line was the following. She said, "Mick Foley shouted me out on Twitter," and she said, "Mick Foley became a hardcore legend in 28. A hardcore legend after 20 years of wrestling. I became a hardcore legend one night." I was like, "Wow, okay, Britt, getting a little baby in you, all right? Pause, all right. I see you getting.
Oh gosh,
getting a little aggressive with the promos and whatnot. But it was scathing promo. Even Mick Foley was like, I regret telling her that she was a hardcore legend, bro. But that type of stuff like muddies up the business. Like now it's like kayfabe is like one of those things like, is it kayfabe? Is it real? What is it? And I like that. I especially like the way the Big Bear she's handling it so well. And the Thunder Rosa thing, which by the way is probably a segue, is just one of those things where Thunder Rosa was like, she put the women, I'm putting the women at AEW on the map. Like I'm a big deal. And Britt Baker was like, you putting the women on the map, I'm putting AEW on the map. Okay? I'm one up on you every time. Period. I'm a fan. I'm such a fan.
I thought Mick Foley had a pretty funny response. He said Isaac Yankem is the only dentist that belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Shouts out to Kane. Shouts out to Big Red.
Yeah, shout out. Yeah.
Big Red Machine and Great Khali, who honestly.
Speaking of terrible world champions.
Who honestly.
Right, who's the worst one? Great Khali.
Great Khali's the worst. Great Khali might be the worst world champion ever.
Great Khali.
Period. I'm not talking about just years. Like
Great Khali. I don't know if you guys remember it. Okay, so there's a video on YouTube that shows wrestlers calling out to their moves, like clothesline, suplex, suicide dive. It took like 8 wrestlers, including Shawn Michaels, to finally be like, camera 3, camera 3, camera 3, camera 3, and during the Royal Rumble, because he was facing the entranceway. He was without stable, and then finally Shawn was like, count 3, and he just turned around. Oh!
They do that 2 moves, a chop and a choke bomb.
He was so trash. Yeah, Great
Talking about
but
before we move from that, man, that pissed me off to the highest level of festivity, because the Great Khali's going in and Big Bad Vader still is on the sidelines.
There's plenty of people on the sidelines that makes no sense. Like Mick Foley put a post on Twitter. He was like, because Lex Luger's not in the Hall of Fame.
I think he's not in the Hall of Fame because of Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah, I know about. Yeah, it's a personal thing type thing, because he was just pointing out that granted, Flair could have a great match with a mop, but he had some good matches. Flair, Steamboat, he did touch the WCW championship. He was like an integral part of the feud against NWO. So it's just it's not necessarily all about in-ring ability and all this, that, and the third. It's just about impact of your, of being a competitor. But I'm going to transition to, go ahead.
But Drew Carey's in the WWE Hall of Fame. How can we take it seriously? Drew Carey's in WWE Hall of Fame. Pete Rose is in the WWE Hall of Fame.
How screwed up is that? Pete Rose is in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. He's not in baseball.
Hey, man, you didn't enjoy Pete Rose and Kane's feud?
That lasted 3 years for no
That's 3 years. He was dressed as a champion. No, and he never got over on Kane ever. He didn't get one good time over on Kane.
And this was Big Red Machine Kane too.
Right.
This is Kane that wasn't even talking. He was still diesel as hell.
This was yoked.
Yeah.
Kane yoked. Not with the belly out. This was clothesline off the top rope Kane.
Yes.
Might do a suicide dive over the rope Kane. This was when Kane was a full-on athlete, bro.
Right.
He would pick you up for real and then
Super Jack. Kane arm was 2 of my arms, 3 of them, bro. Jeez.
This wasn't real.
So I had no problem with Kane being announced, but I saw that. I said, I saw Great Khali, and I was just like,
Some point we gotta stop this bullshit.
I never knew. I to this day, I don't know anybody that picked Great Khali on the wrestling game and played with him.
Picking Great Khali is like picking a person like nobody could fight with on a Street Fighter. I don't even know who that was.
You like Great Khali because he's tall. Like that's why you're like, oh, he's tall. Like Great Khali in the 80s would have been great. He'd been amazing. Great Khali now in the Ruthless Aggression era is trash. Pure trash. I don't care what no one says. I don't care if he was in the longest yard. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Great Khali
should have stayed in the longest yard. Okay, how many moves does Great Khali get before we?
Two. You got the chop and the choke bomb, but ladies and gentlemen,
the choke
I'm hit on. Yeah, that's probably the worst finisher. Maybe for anybody that won a championship, that might be one of the worst finishers.
What was that? What was the chop called? Was it like the Punjabi slap or some shit like that? Like a long time ago. They got this fool training. They got this fool training in NXT India. You know, never mind. I'm done. I'm
gonna hit my own music at this point. WNUA 95.5.
Change the music. Yeah. That's how I hear it in my head. Even though I gotta take it up. This goes out to Thunder Rosa. I just realized that I actually find Thunder Rosa extremely attractive. I'm not even gonna get into anything else wrestling wise. I have a crush on Thunder. I'm looking directly in the camera. Thunder Rosa, I have a crush on you. I'm not gonna say your real name, right? But I have a crush on you, Thunder Rosa. A huge one. If I see you in person, I'm hollering at you. Okay, I'm gonna give you like this. Hey! You got it. I love you. Boom. Seriously though, Thunder Rose is a huge talent. She's actually also a mixed martial artist as well. She was really discovered on NWA and Women of Wrestling because that's where like she kind of made her money and really like did her thing. She's from Tijuana, Mexico. She is actually one of the ones that was part of that staple with Lucha Underground. I don't know if you guys remember that, where she performed as Cobra Moon of the Reptile Tribe. I don't know if you guys remember that. That was like a big deal for me. I used to enjoy that thoroughly. But she's freaking amazing. Two, she's 0-1 in MMA, but she's in MMA, so that matters. Okay, all right. She's awesome. She's gonna be the next AEW Women's Champion. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care about Kenny. What's her name? AEW Women's Champion.
Hikaru Shida.
Yep. Hikaru Shida. Okay, nothing about that. Thunder Rosa is next. She had an epic match with Britt Baker, son. All right. Her eyes are brown and she's intense. Okay, son. She is bae. Forever. Tijuana bae. Tijuana. Cut the music. I'm in love with Thunder Rosa. No one else really appreciating it but myself. That's okay.
I'm glad you had your moment, man. I'm not one to steal anybody's thunder.
I am. Mark my words. I'm gonna slide Thunder Rosa DMs.
Slide in DMs, man.
DM.
I didn't slide in one of the NXT Starlets DMs because I didn't want smoke with a 6'4"
Punishment Martinez. No, just kidding.
A guy that was wearing like her hair intertwined with his. I was like, that's another level of deep.
Yeah, I want that.
And I don't have any hair to like have a little braid of hers in mine. So
I feel like I gotta get in shape to talk to Thunder Rose. Like I really gotta be in good shape to really talk to her and be like,
you gotta be in like said Alexander shape.
Yeah, like I gotta be in real solid, like, you know, like if I want to talk to Thunder Rose, I'd be like, yo, like I can't even talk to her like on a deep level. I gotta be like, nice quads. And then that's how the conversation starts.
Yeah. As he said, the music is off and transition Friday Night SmackDown.
Nice quads.
I'm not I'm not surprised they did this, but Daniel Bryan has been added to the Universal Championship match. It's a triple threat now. It's the way a triple threat should be done. We got 2 heels, we got a baby face. But with that being said, this is almost like the McSheen saying, you know what, I screwed up, because the rumor is they're basically like Edge is looking older every week or something, and that's why they were like threw DB in there, because they were like, oh, you know, let's shake things up for WrestleMania. And I'm just like, didn't we already say just give us Drew and Edge in the first place? Like nobody asked them to go to SmackDown, like literally. But yeah, that they could have it. They should still. With that being said, I expect a pretty damn good match from the 3 of them. I was talking about this off camera. I'm also looking forward to the potential of Sasha and Bianca being the main event night 1. Those are my highlights from SmackDown, gentlemen.
My highlight from SmackDown. I want to say that Bianca slapping the taste out of Sasha was 1. I also want to say the utter confusion and chaos of BB and Roman is 2, and Edge, because honestly, okay, if this is just probably just like a genetic thing. Do you notice that some of the stars who were once like in the Attitude Era, relative Western Era, who had like long hair, now it looks like stringy, like it don't like flowing, like the conditioner's just off, and it looks wiry.
And they're not dyeing it no more.
Yeah, and it's just not as good. And Edge's hair looks like that, and even like even though like in the opening segment he speared the crap out of Daniel Bryan, it was like, oh, it's a good spear. It was like 2 steps he had to take, and he just died. And Daniel Bryan made it a big thing, so it has to be like DB in there 1, just to be able to take the awesome bumps and make it look strong as ever. Because it's necessary. Like he's necessary in order for the story to actually be great. Because Roman, okay, let's all be honest with ourselves. Who's winning that match? Roman. Edge better not be an 11-time champion after that match. Because what's he gonna? He's gonna wrestle? No.
Yes, he clearly.
No. Turn the field.
I mean, Edge looks like he could be on the reboot of Sons of Anarchy right now.
He's on Vikings.
I mean, I'm a little disappointed they flipped him though. I mean, they could flip him back to be a tweener. I would like at SummerSlam to see like Edge and Seth. I'll say that.
I was gonna say, is he really a heel though?
They said they want to. They said he's supposed to be one right now.
He's a tweener.
That's the articles I read. Like that's what
I feel like we can't look at Edge as a heel. Like it's more like a tweener type of space, because you got the true blue heel in Roman. You know what I'm saying? Edge is just like ultimate opportunist mode, and even in that mode, he got varying degrees of like heel heat versus him just kind of doing something to get that goal. You know, which is the championship, obviously. And yeah. I got him kind of in that tweener space. Like, I granted, I get it. He's attacking DB at the same time he's attacking Roman, but for some reason he's still not coming off, to me at least. And I'm probably just biased because I'm an Edge fan, and you know we've been watching wrestling forever. So I'm gonna just kind of by default put him in the tweener space. You know what I mean?
That's where he needs to be, though. You're right, because he needs to be there, though. Like, we don't want to see Edge be the ultimate opportunist all over again and be like the guy that goes and slaps these guys' dads in the face. Like, that's not what we want to see. Like, no one wants to see that shit. Like, we get it. You're Edge. You're already a Hall of Famer, bro. You're already.
Yeah.
There's not a lot for you to do. We just want you to be in this match and give us.
And to be honest, if they wanted to make him a true blue heel, then they should have had him go after Finn Balor. They should have had him attack Finn Balor. And they should have had, for the first time ever, a Royal Rumble winner pick an NXT title as opposed to the Raw or SmackDown title.
Yeah, that would have been legendary.
That would have made him a heel if that's what the goal was.
That made it legendary too.
Because you could have, this story with Roman and DB could have worked anyway. Like we said it on prior episodes, we thought that's where it was going anyway. Regardless of whoever won the Rumble, we felt like it was going to be DB and Roman.
I'm gonna tell you this right now: Vince ain't paying that dude $3 million a year to go to NXT.
Hey,
that's how much Edge. That's how much Edge getting. I get what you're saying, though. You're not wrong.
Yeah,
you're right too, though. I just
telling the truth.
But you're right too, though. That would have been the way to ultimately
neither to go to NXT. But you know what I'm saying? Just if that was the goal to say, hey, you know what? And that's if they were truly looking at all three brands on the same level. That stuff like that lets you know, okay, they can say, yeah, NXT is on par with the other brand. It's not a developmental brand anymore. Like, but your actions don't say that. Like, yeah, we just said it ourselves. Yeah, no, I'm not giving you $3 million to go to NXT, bro. Like, it's not happening. You know. But I'll be honest. When he appeared on NXT before he made his decision and said, I never had that. I thought that was great because it's the truth. Yeah. I mean, technically he hasn't had the Universal Championship either, but that's we're a heavyweight title.
I'll say this to flip things around. They could, because Charlotte chose Rhea last year. They could have an NXT person win the Rumble maybe next year to shake things up. But they do need to start doing something to bring some intrigue to the. Because I'm fine with Rhea getting that shot, but at the same time, that is a disservice and tells you that they shouldn't have two championships, or somebody could just come straight up from NXT and be in the top one of the four most important matches of the card.
But that was the right move with Rhea.
No, it was, but they could have made Rhea win the Rumble to do that, though. And they could have just had Bianca. They could have had Bianca beat, win some number one contendership match or something.
Yeah. I feel like Bianca was a bit more deserving.
No, I'm fine with her, and I picked her. I'm just saying it would have been a little bit more storyline-wise cohesiveness.
To be honest, if they would have sent Rhea up when they sent Bianca up, then Bianca would have been in the space that Rhea's in now.
Yeah.
Because Bianca should have gotten an NXT Women's Championship run down there. Because for that year, she didn't get utilized. She had a couple of matches with Zelina Vega. She had a match with Ruby Riott, and then now they homegirls. And then she was just on the shelf.
Yeah.
And then even Bianca.
Go ahead.
I think the last live takedown match with like a crowd actually involved Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley, and that was a scathingly good match.
It was great.
It was a great match. It was a great match. Yeah. So I think at this point, right now, it's exciting to see that. Like, for me, it's exciting just because, one, if it's like Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair in the future, and this is what's going to head your future as like Sasha and Bayley and Becky and Charlotte Rousey Sunset, you're good. You're good. Like you're good. Like you're good. Listen, Zoe Stark is coming. All right, India Hartwell, she's coming. Candice LeRae is already there. You got Io Shirai. I think they signed somebody else from a Japanese promotion as well, and she's fire. You're good. You have nothing to worry about. The women's division in WWE, period, they have nothing to worry about. You just gotta get rid of. You gotta trim the fat though. You gotta get rid of people like Lacey Evans. It's not necessary to use that. I'm sorry to say this. So is Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke needs to go. What's other beautiful blonde bae? She got potential if she really works at it. She got potential. But I do feel like you gotta stop telling Lana to wrestle. That's gotta stop too. That's gotta be the one they start doing. Nia Jax, gotta go. Can't do it with you no more. Gotta do something else, baby. You gotta make something. You better be good on commentary because it's time. It's time for you to go right now. They got these good pieces, bro. Like they got all these good. And I'm not even talking about NXT UK's women division, which is highly underrated that no one talks about because them girls can go too. Like at this point, they're gonna have to trim the fat. You can't keep having matches with Dana Brooke being trash. And by the way, Sonya Deville can go in the ring. And when she can go again, you're going to forget about her old partner. You're going to. When you watch her wrestle, you're going to forget about her. Because now you have to actually watch them wrestle. I thoroughly am a fan of, what's the name? She was trying to mess with Jimmy Uso. Mandy Rose. I'm a fan of her. But you're not gonna want to use her. Ruby Riott, you're only not using her is because she's short, but she's hella talented. She's really, really talented. And her tag team partner, whose name also escapes me, is actually good in the ring too. Liv Morgan. She's good too. But you're going to start trimming the fat nowadays. Now you're going to have to start being like, because we need TV time.
Speaking of trimming fat, I think we're ready for the golden shovel. Wrap things up.
Oh. Oh. All right. Let me go first. This is my segment, baby. I told you.
It's your moment.
For a moment. All right. Here we go. I have a golden shovel and a half because I am having issues. I am having really solid issues with Bruce Pritchard and Raw. Because I don't understand how SmackDown can be very good and be so good and be so solid. But then Raw is just shit. Let me ask you a question. You sent the Hurt Business to go beat up Drew McIntyre, the former tag team champions, and didn't work out. But then you had Bobby Lashley, who is all of, 6'4", 6'5", close to 300 pounds, talking to cruiserweights to take out Drew McIntyre, who's 6'6", 275, 280. And that made sense to you? So you didn't think that they could lose the match, and then all of a sudden at the end of the match, whoop Drew McIntyre's ass while he's celebrating his win. No? Did that seem like too much like right? You had to have dissension in the ranks, like they were doing dissension within the Hurt Business. You know why you're doing that, Bruce Pritchard? Because you're a dummy. You're a goddamn dummy. Okay, you got to answer to somebody. You got to answer to somebody. You like, and you scared. You want to keep your job, which I get. You want to keep your job, but you want to sit there and say some stuff like, "Oh, you know what? Yeah, I mean, it's best. It's good." No, it's not. It's not good at all. Stupid. It's dumb. You have not had one solid storyline on Raw since the Thunderdome has started. Like not one. Not one. You've had great matches, but that's not what you do, Mr. Pritchard. Mr. Pritchard, your job is to oversee Raw. I'm assuming that your job is to oversee with the writers and get with the teams and then pass on to Vince. I'm going to put that on you. I had a whole thread on you on Twitter, so you're annoying me right now. Because on SmackDown, I'm not sure if Paul Heyman is more of an influence over there than you are, but they're still giving you the credit for SmackDown. So now the confusion lies is, why can't you do what you do on SmackDown with Raw? I'm not saying doing the exact same storylines. I'm saying create the magic that you have with SmackDown with Raw. Now SmackDown's 2 hours long. Maybe it has the better talent, I'm assuming, but come on now. What are we doing right now? Why is it that we're having the highlight of Raw be Retribution breaking up when we didn't even need them in the first place? We got Matt Riddle, but like the fun parts of like Raw are Matt Riddle interacting with the New Day, which is really awkward but really funny at the same time. The Women's Championship is barely featured. We don't see any of the tags. We never see the tag champions there. I don't even know who the tag champions are on Raw. To be honest with you, I have no idea. I've totally forgotten.
Oh no, you see him. You knew that.
Didn't count. Didn't see him wrestle last week. I don't even know what that means. and then on top of that, above all, Mr. Pritchard, I'm assuming that Vince does more of the heavy lifting on Raw than you do. So maybe it's not all you. But you're getting my golden shovel this week, sir. I don't care what you say. You're getting my golden shovel this week. You should have gotten it a couple weeks ago, but I'm giving it to you now. You're getting this golden shovel. You're going to take it. You're going to like
it. All right. Well, for me, I'm going with all these wrestlers that are kicking out of finishers. It was a sacred thing back in the day to protect finishers. I am sick and tired of seeing people get power bombed, super kicked, V triggered, and then just kick out. Like, that's the one gripe I had this week. I saw it this week. As good as the match was fluid was, Matt Sydal took a buckle bomb, a power bomb, and a V trigger, and he kicked out. I thought he was gonna put his foot on the rope. I'm like, please put your foot on the rope. He kicked out. They buried Seth Rollins' finisher because Britt Baker, as great as that match was, she stomped Thunder Rosa, a curve stomp basically on a steel chair, and Thunder Rosa kicked out.
I'd won.
Yeah. I'm tired of people kicking out of super kicks. Shawn Michaels, y'all all looked up to him. Stop kicking out of his finisher then. Or stop using his finisher if it's not going to be the end of the match. Every time I hear, who's your idol growing up? Shawn Michaels. Stop using the man's finisher if it's not the end of the match. You ain't see people kicking out of unless it was a big man. You ain't see people kicking out of super kicks like that. No, I'll go one step further. I don't even think Vader kicked out of a super kick, didn't he? When they had that match at SummerSlam? He might have kicked out, but that's Vader.
But I don't think Vader did, though.
He kicked out.
But that's Vader, though.
It's Vader.
Sid didn't kick out of it.
No, Sid didn't kick out of it at all.
And Sid about 6'8". Legit. I ain't talking about with
Master.
He had the upper kick him. He ain't even super. That's an upper kick. So yeah, that's my golden. That's my golden shovel. And they doing it in WWE too because they did it in Survivor Series with Drew and Roman. You speared this man through a barricade. He gets back in the ring. First thing you do, he gets speared. Drew kicked out. What was the point of that? This man just took your finisher twice and kicked out. So like, why is it supposed to be effective the next week if it wasn't effective this week? I'm tired of it. Stop kicking out of finishers, folks. That's the failure. So I'm not picking on one company either.
So that's how y'all feel, man. Y'all gonna put all this pressure on me to end the episode with the golden shovel.
Okay. I mean, you don't got to give us one. I try to take the high road. I can give you one, but I don't want to like lead you.
No, I don't want to lead you down the path of righteousness either. But you can do it. You're welcome to do it whenever you're
ready. The McSheen switching to Peacock.
I still don't know. Is our shit officially canceled? Like
it cancels by like it cancels next Sunday or something like that, or next Saturday. I can't remember.
First off,
not paying WWE Network anymore.
First off, before you get into that, everything's not even uploaded on Peacock. All the old matches from NXT, all the old takeovers, they're not there. Some of the old pay-per-views from WWE, they're not there as well. And they said it would be there by the end of the week. It's still not there.
Yeah, now they're talking about it's not gonna be up to SummerSlam or something. I'm like, nah, man, I can't rock this Peacock.
Till SummerSlam?
Yeah.
Well, see, that's why you don't sell a network in the why?
Or you build up to it. You don't just spring it on people.
To be honest, now this is just me. When they announced the you know what? That's gonna be my golden shovel. Them selling WWE Network to Peacock. It's an unnecessary move. Okay, When you announced the WWE Network, I personally felt like, and now this is totally unrelated to Oprah Winfrey, but Oprah Winfrey shut down her show. What was she on, Channel 7? Channel 7.
Open up her own network, whatever.
And did the own network, right. So she didn't never fully return to like daytime television or whatever. She created shows or whatever. She does her own little specials, like she did the special with Meghan Markle and Prince, what's his name? Prince Harry. She does stuff like that, right? And she has shows, like she developed the network. But this network has its own channel. I thought WWE was trying to get its own channel. So now said channel was going to house SmackDown, it's going to house Raw, anything else we're going to develop. We have our own go-to channel. This is our channel. And guess what? If you don't want to be on the channel, you can be on the app and catch the stuff that's specifically for the app. That's true innovation to me. Like, y'all tell me if I'm bugging or not.
No, you still preaching. Go ahead, do your thing.
Okay. So fast forward, we're doing all of these money move, just moves that are motivated by financial gains. And granted, I get it. That's the nature of business, but you're losing the very essence of what this company's appeal was in the process of it. Like everything is just for $1 now. You know what I'm saying? We put the title on Jinder Mahal to appeal to what we're building with WWE India. You know what I'm saying? We're getting more and more Japanese and Chinese talent because we have plans to make NXT Japan and all this kind of stuff, and stake our claim out there to try to branch out things. You know what I mean? More business moves. Everything is just dollar. It's all about the dollar at the end of it, and it's lost. WWE's lost its soul as a result of it. WWE titles are atrocious. They don't look like shit. These titles are terrible. I'd much rather you bring back the big gold belt and put that on Roman's shoulder than this fucking Universal title. It's terrible. The New Japan title looks 10 times better than that title.
I don't want to interrupt you. The New Japan titles are some of the sexiest titles.
Fucking awesome. They're awesome titles.
They are sexy titles, bro.
They're just lazy.
I'm not too crazy about the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, but it's better than what WWE has currently. WWE titles, it look like, hey, we're gonna take a page out of UFC's and we're gonna try to promote, we're gonna brand with our titles.
Go back to the Eagle.
Yeah.
That's with the Eagle on them. The belts with the Eagle, where you had to be created like the Intercontinental Champ. First off, the sexiest belt to me from WWE and ever in history is always going to be the white Intercontinental Championship belt that they used to have back in like the 80s, like the real one, not the one they tried to revamp now and bring back.
When it meant something?
Yeah, when it meant something. Like that was the sexiest one because it was just it wasn't like as huge as like a US title belt, but it was just as sexy and it was just as heavy as the World Championship belt.
Now, you correct me if I'm wrong here, but the white belt was specifically, who did Deshaun introduce that, or did Mr. Perfect introduce that?
I want to say Sean to feel better about it, but
I mean, I'm pretty sure Steamboat had it though,
because I know Ultimate Warrior made his yellow. Yeah, he made his yellow because when he got the world title, he made his sky blue, the leather. So
they're just bad outside of the US title. Most of the championships are pretty bad on the main roster. So
these titles, it's no soul, man. It's no soul. I don't get it. I don't know what's going on, but just approaching everything with business first, as far as the mindset, is what's killing the product. It's killing the product. We got 2 sets of tag champions because, hey, you know what? Mattel it makes us a lot of money. We got a red title for kids to pick from and a blue title to pick from. Well, guess what? We don't have tag teams that kids care about. There isn't a new age outlaw in today's WWE. It's not a DX. It's not a Hardy Boys. Who else am I forgetting? Hard Foundation. Like, there's no tag teams there that make you clamor to say, yeah, I want that belt. And when you do have a good tag team, what do? You take the title off of them, only to bring forth this stupid-ass match to introduce another giant that's going to be gone in 3 years because y'all don't know how to book giants.
It also speaks to that they don't know how to book the tag team. You just let the tag champs just go all the way to the back and not care about a rematch in 30 seconds at that.
And it's
not 30 seconds, but you get what I'm saying, like 2 minutes.
Still, to this day, we're going on week 3, and a rematch has not been mentioned yet.
And it's not like that was the rematch, and then you called up an NXT tag team like Imperium or something to challenge New Day. Like, there was just no explanation whatsoever. You know what? I've never been a tag champion. It's almost as bad as, you know what? I'm John Cena. I got a world championship match.
Right. I'm John Cena. Recognized.
That's
what that was.
AJ Styles was like, hey, I'm going to AEW.
I ain't got nothing.
Tag champions. What do you think?
Nah, he can't. He not going anyway because AJ just re-upped for like 4 years, like last year, I think. This is like AJ said, this is probably gonna be his last contract in wrestling. I mean, people can.
He's solidified, bro. AJ Styles is a legend, and I ain't talking WWE legend. I'm talking about a legend. AJ Styles. Listen, AJ Styles is probably one of the main reasons why I would watch TNA or would watch any Indian wrestling promotion he was on, because AJ Styles has been able to revamp himself every 6-7 years and still be AJ motherfucking Styles, bro. Period. The fact that
I'm not even mad at that. It just was out of left field. And then like I'm done. We ready to wrap it up, man.
So man.
This rabbit hole.
Golden Shovel this week goes to WWE for the sale of the WWE Network. You're selling it before you even reached your fullest potential with it. It's a disservice to the fans. Obviously, if you're making us move over to this other app that, by the way, still isn't available on Amazon Fire Stick. Okay, so I know PS4, I think PS5 users, PS5 users, because I had to download the Peacock app on my PS5 to even utilize the app. I can't even download it on my Fire Stick. So now we're unable. You know what I mean? Fans that want to watch the programming, we were unable to find the old stuff that we were able to access. Because we felt like selling our shit to NBC.
Basically, if you want to watch old takeover matches, you better hope it's on YouTube. Otherwise, you're out of luck. All right.
Or Hulu.
Or Hulu. That's it. Yeah, Hulu or takeover. Because they're not going to be on there. Like, to get that nostalgia of like what a real wrestling crowd sounds like with like all the old AEW pay-per-views. You go to AEW, you can go on like Bleacher Report, you can go on their YouTube page to get that type of stuff or whatever, and they have some of that stuff. For WWE, you better hope it's there. Otherwise, because the network's not going to have it, they're going to ask you to Peacock to get it.
And then it's only for people that are in the US too, which makes it even dumber. But I'm done. I don't want to.
Yeah, so that's my golden shovel, man. The network could have been so much more. It could have been where you go to watch all wrestling events, not just WWE, but all wrestling events. It could have been so much bigger than what it was. But hey, everybody has a price, right?
Yep. But this is the crazy thing, because I like what you said with that, whatever. I'm going to get out of here in one moment. They have evolved. They have ICW on there, and they even have some like old stuff where they used to like mix up with promotions. So you have a bunch of stuff where you see segues of people growing as individual stars, but you didn't put that on the network enough, and you didn't. It's just stupid, bro. It's dumb.
Yep. All right, man. So I guess there you have another episode is in the books. Want to tell our listeners real quick, my apologies. I was on vacation, so I wasn't able to put our last episode out. I left my laptop at home. So make sure y'all listen to that now. It's up. It's on streaming platforms everywhere. Get some of that goodness in your system. Last but not least, I want to say get well soon to Road Dogg Jesse James, a.k.a. Brian. Is his name Brian Adams, his real name?
Brian James, I believe.
Brian James. It's being reported that he had a heart attack. So we want to wish Road Dogg well on speedy recovery. We need you back down there in NXT land doing your thing with Trips and Sean. And but first and foremost, get healthy, brother. Get healthy.
Absolutely.
All righty, man. So y'all know how we do this, man. Joe, not there. Not there. But right here.
There's going to be some Road Dogg.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
Thanks for listening to the Hot Take Wrestling Podcast. The Hot Take Wrestling Podcast is brought to you by the NMG Network, a division of NMG Enterprises, LLC.